Okay, guys, and welcome to Back to Basics, episode 5. Again, if you're new here, basically what we're doing here, got a little dog under the desk looking for attention, but what we're doing here is I am taking my beautiful fiance Jessica, right here, who's starting her own trading career. We're going to do a little bit of education, get her started on the new trade idea simulator they put out, and just start trading. The videos that you've seen out recently were recorded a couple weeks ago before this whole kind of corona outbreak. But now we are isolated at home and Jessica's off work, so expect to see more YouTube channels as I now have a video editor at home. So hopefully my YouTube, her YouTube, and this series will start to become a little bit more frequent. Again, if you want to stay informed, if you want to know what we're up to, I'll link Twitters and YouTubes and all of that in the description below. And let's get started. Now, anytime you screw up, just stop what you're doing for a second.
Okay.
Just makes it easier for you to edit out. Okay, so here we are on our first test. Are you excited for a test?
Oh, yeah.
It's, again, there was a bit of a lapse because of how crazy the market was between the last recording and this one.
About 3 weeks, let's say.
So we'll all forgive Jessica if she's not 100% up to speed with everything going on. Again, we recorded the first chunk, then all of this occurred. As any of you guys following the markets know, it's absolutely crazy, but I think this is actually one of the best times to learn because you're kind of learning in hard mode, right? If you can get good trading here, then when things return to normal, which at some point they will, then hopefully you have the skills kind of already set out. So as I mentioned before, here are all of our socials. I'll put them in the video description below so you can follow us all here. I know.
Okay. That's not really my YouTube right now.
Yeah, we're waiting. We need to get Jessica to 100 subs, did you read?
So, yeah.
In order for her to grab this name. So if you're seeing this on my channel, immediately go over to hers and subscribe.
Because I'm like youtube.com/YQRS.
Yeah, that link will be, you'll just be able to click on the link right below this video. Go over there, get her to 100 subs, and then we'll go bug YouTube about getting your branding sorted out, kind of thing. But there we are, and there I am. If you're on her channel and you're seeing me for the first time, there we are. We covered, before you answer, I'm going to ramble a bit just to let all this, I know this one's easy, just wait, they get harder. But
I like this test.
we did two, the first lesson was just about kind of mechanics of the market, how all that worked. Then we went into charts, and then we went into candlesticks. So I kind of left out a lot of the market mechanics stuff because I felt like you got that. And at the end of the day, you're just going to be hitting a buy button if you think it's going to go up and a sell button if you think it's going to go down. So the mechanics were more just kind of get you an idea of how everything worked, but it's not stuff you're actually going to be applying in your trading.
Okay.
So what type of chart is this?
This is a line chart.
Great. So what is... It's been a while since I wrote these two guys. No. So what are the advantages of a line chart?
It gives you a bigger picture.
Right.
Like over a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's about it. It's cleaner, right?
Yeah.
It's simple. This was obviously taken before all of this. So, but if I looked at you and I said, what's the overall trend of the market right now?
It's going, well, like it was going up and then it dipped.
Trend is relative, right? So generally when someone asks you that, they just mean on this entire chart. So from the lower left to the top right, are we generally going
up?
Up?
Yes.
Okay. We're going up. So you got that line chart, easy to spot a trend, very, very clean. Now what kind of chart is that?
It's a bar chart.
It's a bar chart. So what is an advantage over a bar chart that's over a line chart?
It's telling you like the highs and the lows, not just where it ended.
Right. More data.
Yeah.
More data. So you get to see could in theory be roughly the same instrument as before, but you get to see a lot more of the action that's actually taken place. And that, last but not least,
those are candlesticks.
And what's the main benefit of candlesticks over bar?
They have the wick thingies, right?
So do bars.
Then I don't know.
Kind of a trick question, kind of. But
well, that's rude.
But people use candlesticks because it's easier and it's faster to see the same patterns that exist in bar charts. They're just easier to see.
What?
Well, if you look at them, they contain the same information.
Yeah.
Right? High, low, open, close. High, low, open, close.
Okay.
But what happens is when you train your eye, and this is going to be one of those trust me on this things.
Okay.
Because they're fatter.
Yeah.
They're easier to see, but they do contain the same type of information.
Okay.
So they're, again, so what are we going to be doing for most of our charting? Which one are we going to use?
These?
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which I should have, which one and
We
why?
got ahead of ourselves. Why?
What kind of candle is that?
I have no idea.
Well, what,
You told me this morning, and I forget already. Yeah. I said it was the cross, and you said, no, it's Japanese.
Right.
And I said, oh.
So, remember when we went back and we talked about the candlestick was a fight between two people. So, at least what do these candlesticks mean in that fight?
The first one means...
They all mean the same thing. Roughly. They're all the exact same pattern with very small differences. And what you'll learn in trading is a very small difference is close enough.
Okay, so even though green means it's up and then red means it's down?
Right.
It's the same thing?
Right, but how much up is the green one? How bullish of a day does that look like?
Not very.
Right, and how much down is the red one?
Not very.
Right, so they're close to even.
Okay.
But what do the wicks on the top and the bottom mean?
It means there's a lot going on. A lot of people wanted it up. A lot of people wanted it down.
Right, and at the end of the day, indecision.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So these are the kind of battleground candles where we talked about, where everybody's buying and selling and there's a lot of emotions and there's a lot of fight going on. Something happened in the news, but at the end of it, nothing happened. Right? So these are our indecision candles. So what's this guy?
A hammer.
Right.
Oh, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does a hammer mean?
A lot of people wanted it to go down, but they brought it back up.
Basically, you're wording everything like it's all happening at a point in time. This, for example, could be a year, that hammer. Right? There could be a whole year's worth of trading data in that hammer.
But regardless, people throughout the year were trying to get it down, trying to get it down, trying to get it down, but it didn't matter.
Yes. Well, no. So what happened was the market sold. So they won for a long period of time, the sellers. You don't know how long. Could have been, say this is a year, could have been a couple weeks, or it could have been a couple months. But at some point, the winners were in control. Some point, that hammer right there looked more like the candle on the very far left.
Okay.
Right? So we only know what the candlestick pattern is after it's closed.
Right.
Right? Because at one point, this was a big red candle. Right? It was red all the way down to the lower end of that wick. This candle would have opened up where the bottom of the green is, and it would have sold off all the way. So if you looked at this at one point, you would have seen one big red candle, two big red candles, a third largest red candle.
Okay.
Right? Because the candle on the chart is ticking as time goes by, but it's not closing until the end of whatever that period is. So if this is a month or a year, then maybe January until April, it was down. And then the buyers came in and pushed it all the way back up. Make sense?
Yeah.
Just trying to
kind of
explain these as these are all flows in time. Now, whether that's a minute, and in a minute period it opened, the sellers came in and pushed it down, and then the buyers came in and pushed it up to close. If this is a minute time frame, it still all happens in a minute.
So where did it okay, wait. So does it open? Where did it open? At the top of the green square or at the bottom of the green square?
The bottom of the green square.
Okay.
Right, so the red ones, they open at the top of the body. And remember, the body's the fat part.
Right.
And then they close at the bottom of the body. The green ones open at the bottom of the body and close at the top of the body.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so again, if you painted a picture, think of this as a minute now. The first 30 seconds, so just draw a line on your head like this. The first 30 seconds, the sellers came in and pushed it way down. And then maybe the next 30 seconds, the buyers came back in and pushed it all the way up, and it closed a little bit higher than it opened. And that's it. So if this was a line chart where it was all broken out more, you would see a push down, a push back up. Right? So these are fractal in nature, we call them. Anything that works on a higher time frame generally works on a lower time frame, and pretty much anything in between. And a 15-minute candle is just 3 5-minute candles. And a 5-minute candle is just 5 1-minute candles.
Right.
Right. Pushed down by bears, countered by bulls.
Okay.
Right? So the bears won first, and then they lost later.
Bull is red. Bear.
Bull is up, red is down. Or bear is down. Bear is scary.
Bear is red, bull is green.
Yeah. Bear is scary, bull is strong.
Okay.
Basically. So what candle pattern is this?
I don't know.
Well, what does it mean? I guess this is the next one. That's what. If you don't know the name, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well, what does it mean?
But which candle are we talking about?
The two that are highlighted there in the box.
Okay. So.
Because remember, a candle is just a flow in time. So if it's split out into two, it'd be 2 flows in time.
Like they really wanted it to come up. I think. Yeah, because if it closed at the top of the red, and then they were selling to the bottom of the red, right? And then the next minute or day or...
let's just use day for standard.
Okay, so the next day, it opened at the bottom of the green, and they bought it all up.
Right. So anybody who sold, sold to push the pressure down, in the yesterday, we'll call it, the red candle there, or the day before that, they are all wrong now. They've all lost money. So they either sold out of their position and it was right back up where it was, or they shorted, right, which remember is just a bet that the market's going to go down,
right,
and then it's ripped right back up against them. The name is just a bullish engulfing candle because it just engulfs.
I should have known.
It just engulfs the prior, right? If you're standing there and a wave engulfs you, right? It's
on the tip of my tongue.
Right. It's bigger, it's longer. So again, the engulfing candle, it is basically the kind of the same as a hammer, which basically what we're looking for in a lot of these places are one side of this war to obviously lose.
Okay.
Right, and that's what we're seeing there, where it was pushed way down and then they lost. So you could see where the bears were, and then you could see the bears lose. And that's kind of the point that we're looking for here. Pushed down by bears, countered by bulls. So this is a little bit different, but we did go over this one.
This one is...
This was the one that was a funny one. It's a bit of a bonus, but remember there was one that had like a really funny name?
No, I don't. When
I say it, you'll remember, but...
Maybe. There was a full page of like...
Yeah, but I only went over the ones we went over actual slides. I'm not cheating here.
Oh, okay.
I know. I'm paying attention.
All right.
Okay, so what does the first box mean? Again, think of them as 3 candles. The wicks aren't there, but just pretend they are. Doesn't really matter.
Oh, what do you mean?
So there's 3 days of price actions there. Those are candles. Just ignore the fact that there's no wicks on them.
Okay.
What does the first one mean? What had happened throughout the first 2 days? That's the actual candlestick pattern, is the first 2 days.
So it opened at the bottom.
Yep.
And they bought it.
Right.
Until the end of the day. And then the next day opened and they sold it. They got...
But how successful were those sellers compared to the previous day?
Not very.
Right.
Because there was a lot more people buying it than selling it.
Okay, one thing. For every trade that occurs, there is the same amount of buyers and sellers every time, or you
Okay.
can't have a trade. And it's a little annoying thing, but a lot of people, there's more buyers and sellers. There's never, right? Every time there's a trade occurs, there's a buyer and there's a seller, right? You can't buy anything on eBay unless someone's selling.
Okay, yeah.
You can't sell
I see
anyone
what
on
you're
eBay.
saying.
So
Yes.
prices move based off. A better way to just term it so it makes more sense in your head is they were more aggressive,
Okay.
right? The seller could say, no, I'm not going to sell it to you at $10. I'm going to sell it at $10.25.
Okay.
And if they go, okay, and then they go, okay, well, I'll sell you the next one at $10.50. They're more aggressive as time goes on, but there's always the exact same amount, or there can be no trade.
Okay.
So the buyers were really aggressive on day one.
Yeah.
And what happened on day two?
They weren't as aggressive selling it.
Right. Or they tried their damnedest and failed.
Okay.
Right? It's kind of like if you missed, say you missed day one. Say day one was Apple came out with, I don't know, a new watch or something, right? That no one saw coming. It's the greatest watch that was ever made. Day one, you watch Apple skyrocket. You don't get any of it. Then day two comes along and you see it coming down a bit, right? There's probably going to be a lot of people that are looking to go and buy it.
Okay.
So what it means is that as soon as the market reversed direction at all, people are like, I want it. So you had that first explosive move. The point of this is supposed to be that first candle is a really explosive candle. And then that second candle, every time the sellers tried to push it down, the buyers came back up.
Okay.
Right? And then the third day...
But wouldn't the wicks be very helpful here?
They would be, and this same pattern can be replicated if one was a big long candle and the other one was a wick or a hammer candle.
Okay.
It would be the same thing. It's basically just, in this case, the sellers were able to gain some ground, but the point is not very much. Right? You can see all of the selling pressure for the day after is in like the top third of that range.
Okay.
Right? And then the final one, and then the sell is the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
You had a big bad news, and then it's tried to bounce. This might actually make more sense. Apple's watch that just came out, that was the greatest watch ever, now explodes. So one day you get a big tank, and now think of yourself as an Apple holder. That your watches are exploding now. So you're going to say, any time that this stock bounces, I'm going to sell out. So then what that creates... Bounces just like a ball. It goes down and then it bounces a bit.
Okay.
And then that's kind of what's occurring here, and then you get these continuations lower. I did this one because this is something that we're going to be building for you within Trade Ideas, and it's going to be like your starting trading strategy.
Okay.
So that's why I drilled you on that one a little bit. And that's it. So, again, let
Did
us
I pass?
get... No.
Oh.
You failed. You have to watch all your own videos with you in it all over again. We're going to have Jess set up on a simulator, and she's going to be sitting right next to me, trading the open, messing around with the sim. So it's a good time if you guys are in the same boat. Link is down below to pick up Trade Ideas. They have a free simulator.
Yes, come learn with me.
So you can build your own scans. You can play around, and if you're really bad, it doesn't matter. But it's a good time to just learn a skill that you can kind of carry on, depending on, again, I'm using it right now a lot for investment with everything that's going on. I've got certain investment ideas that I'm doing. So it doesn't matter your length of time. We're going to put Jess just to start with in like the 3 to 5 day hold time frame. So you'll be buying something, and in 3 days or a week, you'll be back out and looking for the next thing.
All right.
So it's going to be quick, not super quick, but quick. But again, if you want to try that sim, that is in the description below. And I think that's it.